So, I heard the best Mario Party game in years just released. And oh boy, are those some tasty boards it's rocking. Speaking as someone with zero nostalgia for the N64 Mario parties, even I must admit that it is a marked improvement over what we've been getting recently. And while yes, the return to form in the board department is certainly welcome, it's only half the picture, as a Mario Party with amazing boards and boring minigames would still likely be subpar. Luckily, that's not something we have to worry about at this party, as it possesses a very strong roster of minigames pulled from all over the series' rich history, and today, we're going to celebrate that by going over what are, in my opinion, the top 10 best Mario Party Superstars minigames. Teamwork, shifting dynamics, plausible deniability when you're not pulling your weight, all traits you'll love to see in a 2v2 Mario Party minigame. And in my opinion, Mario Party 8's Paint Misbehavin' is one of the best examples Mario Party Superstars has to offer of the hectic fun that a 2v2 setup can offer, and thus is at number 10 on this list. The goal is simple: paint more Goombas than your opponents. Of course, the fact that those Goombas are moving targets, and that your opponents aren't just going to let you paint all the Goombas, makes the task a bit more interesting than it might first appear. Then if you really want to get into it, try strategizing with your teammate, and try to take advantage of your different vantage points. No matter what tact you take, though, it's sure to be a fun, hectic time that'll almost inevitably come down to the wire, and honestly, what more could you ask for from your minigames? From the realms of teamwork, we now descend to the dog-eat-dog world of free-for-all minigames, starting with Mario Party 4's Book Square, one of the most interesting reaction-based minigames Mario Party has produced. In this minigame, the goal is to avoid getting crushed by the turning pages of this book by locating and then entering the holes in the paper as it bears down on you. In theory, it's not the most complex task in the world, but especially as things speed up, the frantic running from hole to hole becomes one of the most tense experiences a Mario Party minigame has to offer. The panic is real as you, towards the end, find yourself running clear across the page, hoping to just barely make it to safety in time, all while keeping an eye on the page coming up next, so you're prepared for it, and of course eventually slipping up and mistaking the top of the page for the bottom. Don't worry, it's not just you, we've all been there. It's just part of the charm of Mario Party Superstars' 9th best minigame. As I understand it, there are some people who might take great offenses to the placement of this next minigame. I just ask that you have mercy on me, and if you absolutely must chew me out in the comments, please do it in the form of multiple comments to better feed the YouTube algorithm. Okay, at number 8 is Mario Party 2's Bumper Balls. Look, what can I say? Bumper Balls is great. It's just up against a very strong field. That being said, the dichotomy where to attack and knock your opponents off, you must put yourself in a vulnerable position is truly a great piece of beautiful, elegant design. I'd also like to give the different arenas a bit of a shout out. The hilly one is deliciously dynamic, and the one with the ice in the middle causes quite the conundrum, as typically in Bumper Balls you're safest near the center of the arena, but the ice makes maintaining such a position near impossible. So yeah, Bumper Balls, always a good time, and a true classic that I'm glad to have in this game. One thing I despise about Mario Party games is the frequency with which they totally botch the basic concept of a race. Coming in at number 7, Mario Party 10's River Rapid Race shows the other race minigames how it's done. There's only 2 things you've got to do in this one: go fast and avoid running into sea urchins. Of course, the faster you go, the harder avoiding sea urchins becomes. Do you go full pedal to the metal and put great faith in your reaction times, or do you take it a bit slower and cruise past those sea urchins at a much more comfortable pace? It's an inner struggle and conflict that you likely won't be able to answer easily, and with a relatively harsh penalty for hitting those sea urchins, you'd better hope you answered correctly. Which, for most of us, I imagine means not succumbing to hubris. But then again, you're doing fine right now. Look how fast your opponents are going. Surely you could handle just one more level of speed, right? Ah, drat! Darn sea urchins. One bias I noticed that I have while compiling this list is that I have a strong tendency to favor last man standing type minigames over others, especially timer-based ones. That bias has helped Mario Party 1's Shy Guy Says reach number 6 on this list. In my opinion, an elimination-based game much more easily lends itself to a tense showdown between the players. There's just no feeling quite like you and a rival duking it out in Shy Guy Says, getting flag after flag correct, just for one of you to finally get thrown by one of his feints. Speaking of, boy, does that Shy Guy get devious. Which is to say, the escalation as the minigame goes on is excellent, and serves to enhance the aforementioned tension even further, causing this to be one of the best minigames in the whole pack. Mario Party 1's Bobsled Run is a very simple take on a 2v2 minigame, but that doesn't stop it from being one of the best, easily getting it to number 5 on this list. It's a simple race with the added wrinkle that each bobsled is controlled by both players on the team at once, and it doesn't have a brain-dead simple course to make up for the control difficulty either. If you and your partner aren't sufficiently in sync, you will fall off the course, handing the win to your opponents, unless of course they also fall off the course, which probably isn't likely, but it could happen. Now, both players on a team having shared control over their movement certainly isn't unique to this minigame, but the combination of the framing and stakes presented here makes it by far the best example present in Mario Party Superstars. Run, jump, skid, and slide, all in a frantic attempt at self-preservation. Welcome to the 4th entry on this list, Mario Party 3's Ice Rink Risk. 4 players enter the ring with some spiny shells and 1 leaves. It might not sound like the most interesting minigame concept, but between the ice physics and the speed of the shells, it's difficult, and that difficulty makes it quite fun to play. When playing this game, you never feel safe. You always feel on edge, like one slip-up could be the end, because realistically, it probably would be. You can also jump on other people's heads, which offers a nice little spice of player interaction without totally taking over the minigame experience. So yes, truly a masterclass as to how these survival-based minigames should be done. I did not go into this expecting to put a dueling minigame on the list. That was until I came across the number 3 spot on this list, Mario Party 3's Tock Hop. You get 2 players that know what they're doing in a round of this, and it's an epic skill-based battle of endurance as they react to leap over the clock's hands, even as the hand they're jumping over and the one they're standing on circle around the clock at varying speeds, often switching directions to keep the players on their toes. So yeah, in my opinion, between the and yes, I know I've been using this word a lot, but the tense test of skill the gameplay is, and the very nice theming of it around the entrance to an iconic Super Mario 64 level, Tock Hop is by far the best dueling minigame in Mario Party Superstars. I just wish you could share this game with a full complement of 4 players. Wish granted. Mario Party 2's Hot Rope Jump is very similar to Tock Hop. Both are about jumping over hazards circling about. The difference being in this game, the hazard is on fire, which just by default gives the Hot Rope Jump some extra coolness points. Here, the challenge of the minigame leans less on changes in direction and the challenge of tracking yourself as you move all around the screen, and more on just changing up the pacing of the rope swings, and therefore the timing of your jumps, which provides just as good an experience in my opinion. The lighting effects on display also add a nice extra oomph to the minigame, and the fact that 4 people can play it at once, that certainly doesn't hurt either. The last 2 minigames earned their spots on this list by being great variations of the sort of minigame I generally enjoy playing, and there's merit to that. Got them to places 2 and 3. But what I find more impressive is not the chef that takes an ingredient I already like and cooks it to make it just a bit tastier. No, what's truly impressive is the chef that takes an ingredient whose existence I despise, and manages to prepare it in such a way that it becomes not just tolerable, but delicious. That's what our number 1 best minigame in Mario Party Superstars does. Based on the composition of the rest of this list, I'm sure you won't find it exactly surprising that I don't particularly enjoy button mashing minigames. And yet, there's a minigame in Mario Party Superstars that, while being very button mashing focused, managed to do button mashing in such a good, interesting way that even I, an anti-button masher, think it's incredible. That minigame is Mario Party 4's Dungeon Duos. This is a 2v2 minigame in which you take turns with your partner between pressing forward through the dungeon and button mashing to aid your partner in that endeavor. And look, the button mashing itself is not done in a particularly novel or interesting way, but the framing does so much good for it. You're not just trying to whack pokies as fast as you can, you're in a desperate race and struggle against another team, mashing as hard as you can to get your partner further through the dungeon. All the while, they stand on the sidelines cheering you on until you get them through, and the roles reverse. Another great thing about this minigame is the variety contained within it. Yes, there's the button mashing, but there's also some light platforming, warp pipe guessing, and a slightly different form of button mashing. And honestly, in my opinion, the variety itself almost plays second fiddle to the mere act of transitioning between the tasks. Overall, Dungeon Duos is remarkably good, especially when you consider the meat of it is button mashing. And through that framework builds a magnificent minigame that channels all the joys of relay racing and is, in my opinion, not just the best button masher, but the best minigame period in Mario Party Superstars. And there you go, that is my opinion as to what the best minigames in Mario Party Superstars are. If you have the exact same opinion, go ahead and share it in the comments. If you have a diverging opinion in some way, which statistically speaking you do, I would be even more interested in hearing that in the comments. Additionally, it has been, let's just say a long time since I last made a top 10 video, and I am curious if this is something you guys would like to see. Now, I will say, I've got my pipeline for making these set up in such a way where it's not going to affect the frequency of your normal challenge videos and that sort of stuff. You know, this is just top 10s on top of what's already going on. So if that's something you would be interested in seeing and want to see more of this, then please show your support with likes, comments, subscriptions, and if you are leaving a comment, I would be curious as to what sort of topics you think would be interesting to cover in the future. But anyways, guys, until next time, I have been CMeeCraft, and I will catch you in the next video. Goodbye.